Well, hi, I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On, and an action-packed news episode today. Out on the road, I've been talking to various electrical contractors, engineers from Gridserve, ABB and Tesla engineers at various charging locations. Most are only too happy to chat away. I share some of what we discuss and I discovered here today. Sharing locations, I was able to find I've been about one step ahead or behind of the ABB engineer for the last week or so. Everywhere he went, I've been, or was going, and he was going. But he did give me a heads up for a few new ones that are not yet on my radar. Let's open with the big one, Ford Motor Company. And is there absolutely massive debt piling up from numerous sources likely to finish them off sooner rather than later? Turns out their profit, in my opinion, is best described as money laundering. Grab what you can when you can. I owe big thanks to Brandon, he's a YouTuber I watch from Car Questions Answered, and Zach and Ray with their new YouTube channel Car Edge for this very latest data and news which confirms what I've been saying for some time. Ford is in deep trouble, really deep. The latest figures show that the average price of a Mustang Mach-E is $57,000 and they have 25,430 in stock. The current rate of selling them, they have stock for 362 days. That's a whole year. And the value of that stock is over $1 billion. That's got to be hurting somebody. But who is the key here? Let's track a single car. See, Ford sell that car to their dealer. That is what Ford Motors call a sale. But the dealer can't afford to buy it, so they don't. Ford Credit buys it off Ford Motors and offers it for an interest-free and payment-free period of time for the dealer. If the dealer can sell it in that free period, the end customer pays the dealer, who then pays off Ford Credit. These are the good times. If the dealer cannot sell it within that payment and interest-free period, the dealer begins making interest payments. It's a bit like a lease. Now, I realised that a few years ago the interest rates were negligible, payments were low, and the market was really quite buoyant. Fast forward to today, interest rate is eye-wateringly high and they cannot sell them. So the debt piles up, paid for by the dealer. Now, imagine having 20 or 30 Mach-E's on your forecourt. They've been there for over a year and you begin to get the picture. Would you buy an EV that has spent the last year outside exposed to the elements and is now last year's model? But track the finances. Ford sells that car to itself and gets the dealer to pay interest until they sell it. That is where the equation begins to fall apart. They can't sell them. Well, I'm going to be launching an in-depth video looking at the exact finances that are at play here. But remember, final two pieces of jigsaw. Ford loses over $30,000 per Mach-E it sells, every one. That'll produce a total loss, all included, everything altogether, of around $5 billion on the EV business this year. But the wolves are closing in. Ford was really grateful for the UAW strike as they could shut down their production, don't tell their shareholders, and blame the union. Now they've settled, they've got no excuses to give their shareholders for not producing once again. And now's the problem. If they produce, there are no buyers. You see, the customers don't want them and the dealers are already stocked full to bursting. They just can't afford any more debt and they're beginning to turn them away when offered by Ford. This is getting really interesting by the day because in a few weeks, Ford Motors will lose the IRA $7,500 subsidy or tax break, making their cars instantly $7,500 dearer overnight. Fun, fun, fun. Well, thank you to Brandon and Zach and Ray. Their channels are well worth a look. Links down below. VW EV sales crashed to zero in China. Porsche can't sell any Taycans anymore, which become the EV with the biggest appreciation in the world, closely followed by top-end Mercedes. Well, doom and gloom merchants hope this is the end of the EV, but they need to learn a new word, winnowing. Look it up. In farming terms, it's separating the wheat from the chaff by use of the wind. The wheat is the bit they want and the chaff the bit they don't. That blows away. But it is a word that is also used differently by thesaurus.com. Well, if you don't know what a thesaurus is, I could give you a few alternative words to describe it, but that would spoil the fun of you having to look it up yourself. Winnowing is also used to describe sorting the rubbish from the good stuff. In this case, the good EVs from the poor. See, early adopters will buy anything as soon as it's launched. I've done it myself. That period is now over. buyers now are getting more discerning, and they're rejecting the poor, mainly the legacy auto EV efforts, and choosing the good, mainly the dedicated EV-only manufacturers like BD, Neo, Tesla, or those who have committed to totally going EV, like some of the above, plus MG, Volvo, Hyundai and Kia. Well, legacy auto EV sales are either heavily down or seriously disappointing against the targets they themselves set. While the best two selling EVs in the world are now BYD and Tesla, no, not BYD hybrids, they're falling off rapidly, but they're BEVs, battery electric vehicles, which are now almost up to Tesla numbers. America has just passed 1 million EV sales, and now accounts for over 50% of all car sales in California, while worldwide sales have grown 36% year on year, and they're accelerating. So sorry EV deniers, nowhere near the end, just past the beginning. Well, common complaint I hear all the time is that people are being forced into EVs against their wills. How? Why? There are no subsidies at all to EV drivers in the UK, not even the free road tax. Some of the micro-ICE cars also do not pay road tax. It's rates based on emissions. You can and will be able to buy your new ICE car for at least another 12 years, and used ones probably indefinitely. Maybe you should hop over the channel. France has just passed into law a total ban on ICE cars in Paris from 2035. And knowing the French, they'll probably follow through. That is what I call forcing. We're nowhere near that yet, sad to say. And the French, well, contrary to what I just said about backing down, have just backed down on post-Brexit rules. They agreed a rule that said to encourage local businesses to take over from Chinese imports, not only whole cars, but also components, and mainly the batteries. From the 1st of January, all EVs must be at least 45% homemade, or they'd face tariffs. Well, snag is, nobody told the likes of Stellantis, Citroen, Volkswagen, Vauxhall, Peugeot, or Mercedes and BMW. They ummed and ahed for years. EV, no EV, EV, hybrid, hydrogen, now they just run out of time. The new factories to make the batteries and components in most cases have not even been started. Those that have now been put on hold. So their own cars would then attract a 10% tariff if they export them to the UK or anywhere else outside Europe. Ha! Self-interest is a wonderful thing. Well, they've now passed a new law for a fixed period, but they've not yet determined how long that period actually is, just that there is one. It's likely to be a 3-year extension, so stand by for an absolute hive of activity in building factories, battery factories, sourcing raw materials from within the EU. Also stand by and watch as our government squabbles amongst themselves over who's to blame for having had 4 prime ministers, 17 cabinet ministers in the last 2 years. Watch them fight internally as the opportunity drifts rapidly away. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so we can tell you when we launch future videos on these and other topics. Well, chargers everywhere, not one to plug into yet. I'm noticing masses being installed everywhere I go. Now, if you look on the Tesla website, it does tell you where and when they're going in, so it does make it a bit easier, but most charging networks do not. So thank you to all my viewers who send me details, photos or videos of new installations. Many of the comments I receive have asked if I can produce a list of installations and the likely completion dates. Some I already know about, but many I don't, so please email me details of anything you see. I'm grateful to all people like Nick, Rob, Simon, John, Paul and all you others. I'll be adding the latest photos and videos at the end of suitable videos in the future, with full credit for those who send them in. Keep the info coming and I will compile it. Oh, by the way, the Tesla charger map can be found if you go to tesla.com, then click charging at the top, supercharging info, then type in your location. It shows a healthy number of new superchargers, and most are open to non-Teslas, over 30 of them. I happen to believe that those that initially do not open to non-Teslas will do so after a short evaluation period. Prices are still silly low, so if one is nearby, find it and try it out. I'm also producing a new video with how you as a non-Tesla driver can register with Tesla. You download the app, set it all up, arrange your payment method, and then operate it. Watch out for that one, it'll be out soon. Well, price brings me to Instavolt and BP at 85p and Gridserve at 79. Regular viewers will know I often mention business models, and I wonder what business model has convinced Instavolt they can make a viable business at 85p. And the answer is, when you dig in, it's the only logical business model that works. You've more chance of getting your child's Christmas present of a Harry Potter magic wand to do real magic than see Tesla raise their charging prices to match Gridserve. It goes totally against the grain. So the only business model that works is to hike up the prices to the absolute maximum you can get away with and grab all that you can while you can. It won't last for long, but might set you up for the tricky period that will instantly happen when the nearest Tesla supercharger opens up to non-Teslas. Avoid them if you can, bite the bullet if you can't. In my opinion, prices will crash in the next 12 months. Yep, you can hold me to that. And talking of holding me to my predictions, I stated earlier this year that we would see full self-driving somewhere in the world before the end of the year. So did that happen? Well, yeah, of course it did, otherwise I wouldn't have brought it up. Well, China's just issued a license for 2 companies to operate FSD, full self-driving vehicles. And I mean real AI-driven FSD, not the Mickey Mouse GM cruise attempts that can't even follow a preset route without running people over. Well, the companies who have obtained the licenses are SAIC and NIO. NIO has confirmed it has received one. We heard it here first, many months ago. Well, talking of China, I met up with a BYD Atto 3 driver on Tuesday at Chester East Services. Well, it turns out he works for a Mercedes dealer down in Exeter. They also sell BYD. He was tasked with driving up to Chester to meet a customer of theirs for some reason. Well, this man is used to driving Mercedes, both ICE and EVs, and he stated that the Atto 3 is a really nice car, very high quality, comfortable to drive. Good tech, loads of gadgets. High praise from a Mercedes man. It's therefore a bargain when you can get them around about 33,000, 34,000. Watch out for the Chinese. Well, I found a couple of things about chargers this week. So I'll start with Formby. Well, this is near Southport, and it had a BP Pulse charger installed there over 3 years ago. Get comment after comment, complained it's always broken and asked why BP don't do something about it. Well, I found out. The charger was installed 3 years ago. It was never commissioned, never turned on. 3 years ago, and they've just found out about it this week. I'm informed the ABB engineers will be there really soon and will finally switch it on. See, it wasn't broken. But I'm informed by the engineer after 3 years by the seaside, it definitely will be by now. You're probably going to end up getting a new one. Well, another little snippet. This was witnessed by Jonas, but I promise not to identify the source, apart from saying it is an engineer who knows about these things. It seems that the ABB chargers favoured by Gridserve are always installed with joint supplies and protection and monitoring, so that if one goes down, another is almost guaranteed to do so, even if it has no other fault. And the main reason for going down is, wait for it, we do live in the UK, damp. Apparently there's a surge protector inside that's very susceptible to damp and takes out both chargers. Well, at Chester East Services, when we went there on Tuesday, which only went live a month ago, there were 12 chargers in total, 6 of them down when we arrived. Well, Tesla claim an uptime of 99.995%. That's amazing. I wonder what this failure rate does to Gridserve figures. Anyway, it was fascinating to peep into the open cabinet. It's never easy to arrange, but then again, we never asked. They could have put up curtains or barriers like in F1 if it was that important to them. Well, I did take a few minutes to look around the BYD and it looks a really nice car. If anyone local has got one, let me know. I'd love to look in more detail and make a video. Well, way over in the States, my brother's just bought himself an EV. He's a real petrol head, always has been, but on a recent road trip to Texas from New Jersey, he decided to hire a Tesla Model Y to try it out. I think this is a brilliant thing to do. I never told him. This is something more people should do. Give it a real good run. The conclusion was, it was a lovely car, amazing performance, great supercharger network, and then he went and bought a BMW iX4 M50, and he loves it. I'm hoping to get a video and photo collection so I can include it in a future video of mine. He got 1 year free charging up to 30 minutes per session. You charge for 29 minutes, totally free. Charge 31 minutes, you pay for the whole lot. He's having a home charger installed for when the free offer ends. Well, it's becoming a whole family affair, this channel. Charles, my youngest son, he still lives down in Cornwall, and he supplies many of the local photographs that you see me use. He's hoping to make it a career, photography. Tim, Dr. Tim, is now branching out from engineering into sales engineer, and is now on the road a lot. Get loads of updates, photos and videos from him on his travels. A few of those are included here. We had a quick look at the new cars we're likely to see launch in 2024, and I was absolutely stunned. One website was entitled Top 41 EVs we most want to see in 2024. That's probably more than we've already have in total, 41. Anyway, be aware, there are many awards, but the Tesla Model Y is likely to grab the best-selling car ever. Not bad for a price tag of nearly 50,000. MG4 and the Volvo XC30 both at the top of most lists as car of the year. Citroen enters next year with the EC3 and with a suggested price of 21,000. I very much doubt that, it won't happen. Lotus is back, as is Jaguar, both top-end cars, 80,000 plus, but Jaguar iPace once again baffles me. Starting price 81,000, but add on a few extras like coffee cup holders, no, I kid you not, plus headlight washers, data connection package, and the total races towards 90,000. Would you pay £50 for 2 cup holders and £440 for a data package when you most probably have a smartphone? You just need Apple or Google Play, which I cannot see included at all at any price. Well, some people really do write weird business plans. Mercedes, meanwhile, they've launched the EQE, comes in at 69,000, so 20,000 less than the Jaguar. Chinese cars feature heavily BYD, Neo, Xpeng and SAIC, but they're a bit of a cheat. You see, SAIC have entered into a number of partnerships with the likes of VW, GM and MG. Now make cars for all of them. VW will tell you they're making inroads into China. They're not. They only hold a 7% stake and they don't do anything. SAIC won't let them. Finally, subject dear to my heart, as all my regular viewers will know. Filming a sandbatch and Kiel on the M6, I bought myself a coffee at the drive-through Costa. Brilliant idea. If the services are busy and all you want to do is nip to the toilet, then jump back in your car, hit the drive-through, and set aside for cars only so you don't get queues. How about this? I saw several bulldozers and diggers busy working away, and a dozen or so guys. I was about to go over and ask them what they were doing when I spotted it. At Chester East Services, they're building a drive-through McDonald's on a motorway services. I've never seen one before. Well, Costa and Starbucks drive-through, yeah, loads of them. McDonald's drive-through off the motorway, loads of them. But a drive-through on a motorway services? Whoa, I like this. Can't wait to try it. I'll obviously do a full video, complete with the obligatory taste test. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Dave. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It really does help us, but more importantly, please have a look at our Patreon membership. Patreon membership is a direct financial contribution towards the channel, and it really makes a huge difference. You get lots of goodies, you get shout outs on the videos, lots of other things. You get early access to some videos and tables and charts that you don't see on YouTube. But really it's just to support us so we can get out further afield and do some more filming of subjects that we normally couldn't afford. See, we're not funded. This is out of my savings and my pension. We do get a small amount from YouTube in advertising, but contrary to popular belief, it's not thousands of pounds a month. We're still hovering in the hundreds, heading towards £1,000 a month. So that might just cover my McDonald's bill and my Starbucks coffee. So thanks very much. All of those who've already joined as a Patreon member, all of those who contribute, and all of those who take advantage of thank yous and buy me a coffee. Every little helps. Thanks very much.